A new study from UW-Madison is highlighting safety concerns for high school football players. According to the study, Guardian caps aren't as effective for high school football players. Those Guardian caps have grown in popularity on the gridiron in recent years. Players wear them as added protection against head injuries and concussions. The UW School of Medicine and Public Health studied nearly 3,000 high school football players in Wisconsin. The caps had no effect on the rates of sport-related concussions. Dr. Aaron Hammer led the study and says other methods are much more useful than the caps.
Rule changes, particularly those on kickoff, have shown to reduce the risk of concussion. When coaches participate in tackling educational sessions, that can prevent the risk of concussion. And also having an athletic trainer on the sideline to help identify these injuries, which can be fairly nuanced, is important to identify those athletes, remove them from play to protect their brains.
There is a disclaimer. UW says this study cannot be applied to Guardian caps worn by players in the NFL and at the college level because those players wear a different, thicker model.